Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Tuesday, January 25th edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we call this Thankful Tuesday. So don't we all have much to be thankful for? We really do. And it's just a good reminder that let's be thankful for all that God does, the things we're aware of and the things certainly we're not aware of. So just in general, be thankful to the Lord. So we're going to jump into things kind of quick today. Of course, our theme this year is reading through the Bible. Today we're going to be in Exodus 32. We'll begin at verse number 15, give you a little bit of the setting, and then just read it, and it'll explain itself. But we are thankful for everybody who watches our videos and the response and all of that. If you can be in prayer for us at 2 o'clock, we have a funeral here at the church. It's the Castleberry family. Don't usually mention names, but I'll just mention the last name. And if you can remember that family as their loved one has passed in just recent days, and certainly pray for God's grace. Pray the service will be a blessing and will be a help to the family and all that's there. So Exodus 32, we're going to begin at verse 15. The setting here is Moses has been up in the mountain with God, and he's gotten the Ten Commandments. He's coming down, and he's getting ready to meet Joshua, and the rest of the people, Aaron and the rest of the people, are down at the bottom of the mountain, so to speak. So notice what it says in verse 15. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the two tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides, on the one side and on the other were they written. And the tables were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God graven upon the tables. And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, There is a noise of war in the camp. And he said, It is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing. And Moses' anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands and brake them beneath the mount. And he took the calf which they had made, and burnt it in the fire, and ground it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink of it. And Moses said unto Aaron, What did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? And Aaron said, Let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief. Now here's the verse I want to elaborate on, is verse 23. For they said unto me, Make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And then, of course, Aaron tries to explain what happened, and of course, there's really no good explanation at that point. It's just Aaron was as much fault as the people who wanted this golden calf. But here's what I wanted to say. You say, what makes people, or what makes an individual, what makes you or makes me be in a position to where we don't recognize God, and we don't see what God has done or is doing. Now, I'm saying that because the reason why, or what makes people do what they do, like these people, what would make them make a golden calf? What would make Aaron, of all people, to create this thing so that these people could bow down, and he kind of was like the architect of it. So what I'm saying is, what would make people do that? Well, I'll tell you, here's the thinking that would lead to that kind of action. The fact that they would say, As for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt. Let me just say this, and I think I've said this in recent days. I have always been a pretty loyal person, especially to men of God. And I've always been the type of person, when I'd work somewhere, always respectful of the leadership, a boss, the owner. I think if you could go back and interview anybody that I've worked for, and I wouldn't mind someone doing this. Some people cringe at people doing a background of people, but I wouldn't mind you going back and checking my bosses and the respect I think I've had for them. I think they would speak highly of that. Even as recent days, as a man that if I was to let him speak and not prompt him at all, I think he would say that I would be above normal, above average in this respect for people, particularly leadership. So I'm saying all that to say this. However, we've got to realize that when we start saying things like this in the spiritual sense, that this person has led me and this person's done that, you better be very careful with that. The reason why these people could go from Moses being up on the mountain for 40 days and then coming back and them going and creating this golden calf, and even Aaron himself, is the idea that a man brought them out of Egypt. No, it wasn't a man, it was God. In fact, God wanted them to make sure that when they told their children, hey, who brought you out of the land of Egypt? It wasn't Moses. Now, he was the human leader in the sense, but God brought him. It wasn't Moses' idea. Moses even balked at it to start with. And, what I'm saying is the fact that people make statements like, here's what so-and-so has done for me. Now, I know people can do things for us. Don't get me wrong. We're not talking about totally saying, don't ever show appreciation of the people. Not saying that. But in this case, for someone to grossly sin and to think in their mind, well, Moses is gone. He's the one who brought us out here. So because of that, then we'll just make us gods. And the sad thing is that these people said that, this is the God that brought us out of Egypt. I mean, how do you come to that conclusion? Well, again, it goes back to people that don't recognize what God is doing and who God is. And that's why we better be very, very careful. That's why when you pray all the time and you're praying to God, it's just it's a building, it's a growing process in which you constantly realize that your help and your very being is of God. And less, not that we don't appreciate people, and not that we should not be loyal to people who are leaders and men of God. And you've heard me tell this not too long ago about, disrespecting men of God. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do, and you shouldn't do it. However, the point I'm trying to make is that these people, why did they get in their mind this idea of serving some God that they created, basically taking earrings of gold out of each person's ear, melting that down, creating a calf and saying, well, that's our God right there. What kind of thinking would make that happen? Well, it's the kind of people that would say to Aaron, hey, Moses brought us out of Egypt. Well, so that they're missing the whole big point, the elephant in the room, so to speak. It wasn't Moses who brought them out, it was God. So let's recognize God in our life. And that's very, very important. That way we won't be disillusioned with people. We won't follow other people that are not following God. And it's a very important thing. We say a lot about this, but I think we've said enough for you to understand where we're coming from. So we're going to see you tomorrow on Winning Wednesday. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.